That was last year, the one he did with Miley Cyrus.
Oh, yeah, the performance at the VMAs, the Blurred Lines.
That song is horrible.
Again, I wouldn't put it on my bottom 5 because, you know, it's not like...
It's about date rape.
The guys who wrote it didn't intend that. But, yeah, the implication's there. But the beat is too good for me to put it on my bottom 5. Now, if I was to make a bottom 10... I might put it at like 10 or 9.
Now, I have a song that should be part of your honorary top 5.
Mm-hmm.
The country song, Girl in a Country Song.
Oh, yeah.
It's not pop. It's not going to top any charts, but I think you should include it just because it's an amazing song.
That is a fun song. I've heard that one. Oh, and then, if God Made Girls manages to make the top 100, I'm totally putting that in my bottom 5.
What's that song?
God made girls to make men better men. God made girls to put men in line and treat them well and inspire them to do better things.
Who released that song so I can just shake my head?
God made, I don't know, some new pop country lady.
Wait, a woman wrote that song?
Yes, that's the worst part about it. Oh, God. So, it'd be one thing if it was a guy who wrote it.
You could ignore it as...
Or, hell, I would buy it as a joke because the premise is so stupid.
Well, you'd actually...
Sorry, we're waiting for Jay to get back.
We can cut this part later, but...
We're waiting for Jay to get back to talk about Big Hero 6. He should be here soon. He went to go check his work schedule because apparently he can't check that online like I do. He can, he just doesn't. But, yeah,
I have hot chocolate. I'm happy.
God Made Girls, man. That is just... The fact... What's that? Self-hating racism? Mm-hmm. Self-hating misogyny song, yeah.
Proof that misogyny exists in women, too.
They don't realize it.
No. I love critical theory and queer theory. It has given me an entirely new lease on life.
Sort of like all the Twilight books. They were very regressive towards women, but the lady who wrote it thought it was empowering.
I could make a very bad joke here, but I'm afraid people would think I'm being serious, so I'm not going to make it.
You know, you've just prefaced that it is a joke, so you might as well go ahead.
She is Mormon.
I know.
Which is horrible because some of Mormons are really open people and loving people, and they really like...
And I don't like to say this about religions, especially ones that bring people comfort, and Mormonism has brought many people comfort. But the basis of the Mormon faith is kind of nuts, okay? It's just...
Kind of?
Jesus visited the United States. Really?
The United States didn't exist. It was forest.
Yeah, I just... Meh. I mean, I don't know enough about the people who started Mormonism to say that it was just made because one guy wanted to marry a lot of women. I can't say that. And clearly that's not what it has become now, because for a lot of people it's a real faith. But you just have to accept with that one, the basis of that religion is nuts.
No, and there are some people who do practice polygamy in the Mormon faith. Yeah. But more often than not, I don't think polygamy is a guiding principle of the faith anymore. No. So, and if you couldn't tell, Alex has fries, so he's happy.
It's not like the basis of Hinduism makes a lot more sense.
No, well, when you look at all religions, they really don't make any sense if you take them logically.
No, but, I mean, the basis of Christianity is there is a loving God who will forgive you of all the wrongs you have done. That's not insane.
I'm back, bitches!
Practical. We were discussing religion and God Made Girls, the horrible, horrible country song. So now that Jay's back, let's please talk about Big Hero 6.
Amazing movie, go see it, you're caught up. So
awesome. Are you sitting on... No, you're not. Okay.
No, you just suck at reaching for things.
Well, it's directly behind me.
Oh, by the way, I've got Saturday and Sunday off again next week if you want to do anything.
I don't know.
Well, welcome to In the Car for Big Hero 6.
Double thumbs up for this one. No, actually, cross thumbs up for this one.
Here, I'll give you an extra one.
See? That's how good this movie was. I'm saying it's good.
I give it 1 thumbs up out of 2.
It was a really cute film,
cheapskate.
but it was also a really deep film. It dealt with a lot of loss issues, which was a good thing.
It got dark for a little bit.
It got a little dark, yeah.
It did when, well...
Destroy!
Yeah, spoilers, we'll get to that later, but, Okay, so the emotional core of this movie is definitely Baymax.
Yes.
What the hell does that stand for, anyway? Maybe it didn't
Who
stand for
cares?
anything.
He was such an awesome character. This is so funny.
Let's make one thing very clear here. Baymax does not have a soul. He's not becoming more human. Baymax is a nurse bot. He is a caregiver.
He's a robot designed to be medical care, blah, 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 blah.
And being a care robot, he gives a good illusion. But it's clearly an illusion of caring.
And I still refuse, I still call BS that you can just grab the top of a computer screen and immediately download information. That's not how it works. There's no connection to the internet on the screen or the monitor.
Future tech, umbrella of future tech.
There was a lot of hand-wavy, it's the future technology going on.
But it wasn't set uncomfortably in the future, so it was still recognizable.
Yeah. Marshmallows. Just like Baymax.
Yeah, I want to eat a baby Baymax. That sounds
dark. Baymax. You see what I'm dealing with here?
Hiro and Takahashi?
Takahashi was the brother's name.
There was distinctly...
Tadashi, you're right.
There was a distinctly Japanese flair to this movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a future San Francisco, but it's San Fran Tokyo.
It was a little weird because
literally half the city is looking like Japan.
There was no explanation for this. It just was.
The author said so.
Yeah. For those who don't know, this is based on a Marvel comic book that no one really read or cared about, and
which meant Stan Lee cameo.
And the connection is loose at best. I think they took the name, a few of the power designs, and that was it. Like, that was it. This is an entirely original story. Knowing the comic book will not help you. The comic book came out right before the manga boom of the mid-2000s, and it was Marvel trying to capitalize on that by throwing a lot of Japanese characters in a comic book. Didn't go over well.
No.
The movie was awesome,
So just ignore that, because Big Hero 6 is its own thing.
And if you watch the film, don't run out and get the comic book.
Don't, yeah.
No, trust us on that.
It might ruin your viewpoint on it.
Or it'll just leave you disappointed and feeling hollow. So, Hiro and Tadashi are... Hiro was way too smart, first of all. Graduated high school at 13 and college by 14. Way too smart.
Not how things work.
They didn't imply that it was only a year ago. He could have been 15.
He still graduated high school at 13. Way too smart.
No, but he was 14, because his brother said burnt out at 14.
Oh, yeah,
so
14.
Sad.
You're right. It was 14.
I liked his brother.
His brother was a fun character.
Hiro was definitely the savant. No, thank you.
More baby Baymaxes.
But they played the trope really well, and he was just a really...
His relation with his brother was believable. Their relation with their aunt, their parents are dead. Thanks, Disney. Keep that streak alive.
No,
they didn't focus on the
We
parents.
assume they're dead. They just said they're gone.
No, their parents are dead.
They did not once imply they were dead.
Their parents are dead.
They said they were dead when they were 3. When he was 3. But
all right, he did say that. My bad.
But Hiro was 3, so it's not really, like, matter to him that his parents are dead. I mean, yeah, it maybe hurts, but it's not an important part of his character.
It's something he grew up knowing his whole life.
Know
so
them
while
enough.
it's a part of his character, it's not made into a major deal.
Now, the death of his brother...
Spoiler alert.
I have to spoil that, because that is the forward
I'm
motion
still
of the
kind
damn plot.
trapped on the whole graduated high school at 13 thing.
Now, there was a pretty cool scene where he's, doing, like, back alley robot fights with, like, his own personally designed robot. That was cool.
Not cockfight, robot fights, because Japan.
It's only illegal if you bet on them.
Which he was totally doing because it was so lucrative.
And his words. Illegal, but so lucrative.
As his brother is bailing him out.
These are going to make me sick. Where the hell did I put that rubber band? There it is. Ugh. Too much sugar.
And whose fault is that?
Mine.
He's already hyper enough. We don't need to add any more.
Him. I'm the one who just had a team win, made $20 off of another game, and went to see another movie.
It's only illegal if you bet on it?
But
actually, betting on the NFL is actually perfectly legal. Sometimes.
Yeah, I know. It was
so Hero enters a science fair because, of course, he does.
a science fair where the winner of the science fair gets admission to a university.
Because that's
also called nerd
thing.
school.
I mean, I guess maybe if it was up to the discretion of that guy.
I'm sorry, as someone who has been to college twice for a bachelor's, a master's, and is starting the PhD application process, that doesn't happen. I wish it would, but it doesn't.
I mean, maybe if that one robots guy ran the school.
He probably ran that department, but still.
Yeah,
that guy got it easy.
Yeah, his admission to college was a little no effort
and no money. It's
and when we're introduced to that character, Hero's like, oh my god, I'm meeting my hero. Kind of feel going on right there.
But so for the science fair, he invents admittedly really cool microbots. They're really tiny. 2 triangles with a central circle that they kind of flex around, and they're all magnetic, and there's thousands of them, and you control them with a headband mind
There were more than
It's
thousands.
the Neko cat ear things that you see at anime cons.
And then they form into whatever you think. And there's
basically the band he wears around his head controls everything they do. He thinks it
they
happens.
make, yeah.
They're little microbot
And they're
genies.
really cool.
Minus the wishes.
Even though they make no sense.
And they
what
form
is their
structures
battery?
that defy their numbers.
They look awesome.
They look
feature
really cool.
umbrella tech.
And it's really good. It's really good animation on the whole mechanical flowing sea
yeah,
thing.
because every
What
time
it
they
reminded
flow,
me
you
of
see the mechanics.
Was the that robot in Megas XLR, the spider one, Regis. I am Regis. That thing that kept reforming and getting bigger. It kind of reminded me of that. If you've ever seen Megas XLR.
It looked like a circuit board when it kept forming. They had the line. It was really cool. And speaking of the animation, the characters, the emotion really went through. It was really well animated.
Seriously, what is the plan?
I haven't seen a lot of Disney's solo forays into animation. I think the last one I saw was Wreck-It Ralph, which had significantly different character designs than this one.
Which was actually a good movie.
Yeah. I'll talk about that later. I'll talk about a thing I have with the animation later. Because I don't want to derail the talk about the awesome plot. So, fire at the science convention. Oh, total red herring bad guy, by the way. Was, He walks up, I'm Mr. Business, who cares more about business than science. Would you like to make lots of money?
Lex Luthor prototype.
But he's
Dr.
a red
Von
herring.
Doom.
But he's a red herring, and I was just like, either this guy is the villain, and I'm gonna be really pissed, because way too obvious, or this guy isn't the villain, and I'm gonna be pissed, because they way overplayed their hand.
Either way, he turns out to be an asshole.
Either case, he's not like a nice guy or anything, but he's not evil.
Yeah.
But, so I did not enjoy the villain setup. The villain of this movie, I'm not going to spoil it, but has a very clear case of there weren't a lot of characters to choose from itis.
Literally only 3 possibilities.
There weren't a lot of choices for the bad guy, basically.
Halfway through the film, Brandon turned to me, and I'm not going to reveal what he said, but he said it's either character A or character B, and he was right. You
because
really have
character
2
C was
choices.
eliminated out of obvious exposition.
And that was the villain that we just mentioned.
Yeah, so...
And the villain, his costume design, just the look they gave him, simple as hell, but so effective.
Yeah,
really cool.
That kabuki mask has got the...
I want a kabuki mask and a giant black cloak.
Mind-controlling helmet, mind-control band... Oh, no, microbot controlling band in the
neuro band.
The design
the
of the kabuki mask. So the kabuki mask is important to the look. And the rest of it is considering that whoever, this world doesn't have, superhero logic, so there's no, costumed villains running all over the place. So this actually seems like the kind of outfit that someone would go with when they're trying to hide. It's a black coat, black clothes, and a mask. It's that is something someone would put together when they're trying to hide their identity, because you can't go buy a Riddler outfit. Well, you can, but that's because the Riddler's a fictional character in our world.
And we're assuming the Riddler even exists in that world, so...
Which DC character, so probably not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marvel and DC have crossed over before. They just refuse to do it in movies.
And they refuse to do it in canon, too.
Well, there are plenty of Marvel villains to pick from also, so...
Yeah, but, so, villain, is cool when he's just, like, the faceless evil guy. When the villain has understandable motivation, significantly less cool, but important to the story and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Hero is introduced to his brother's, classmates and one insane guy who wanders around in a mascot suit. Because Fred is not a student.
And he wants
He's
to
a stoner
become a
hippie.
monster.
Like,
He's a stoner hippie who loves science, and he literally just wants
I don't think
his
he
friends to
wants science.
implement.
I think he's more
something
of
into
a
him.
comic book, because he had all of those figurines
Yeah.
from the comics, and he wants to become a monster, like a Godzilla. That
He
is his
keeps
goal
asking,
in life.
can you give me a potion that makes me invisible? Not a thing.
Can you allow me to shoot fire beams out of my eyes? Not a thing.
Twinkling
Invisible
fingertips?
sandwich.
Okay,
also
so
not a
there's
thing.
Fred, there's Wasabi, the black guy, who's a really big nerd, Honey Lemon.
And is a coward.
Honey
who's,
Lemon,
really-
Maud, Preppy Maud.
She was like
Annoying.
science-obsessed, cheery, bubbly girl. She's
Too cheery.
None of the characters were bad, per se, but the Wasabi, Fred, Honey Lemon, and whatever the hell the last girl was.
Go-Go.
Go-Go. Serious side character syndrome. Like, we're talking Power Rangers level of characterization here. Like, they're color-coded, they have one personality trait, and, you know, that is fine, but the problem is that they're written like they're more interesting characters. Like, they're given lines like they're more interesting characters, and they're really not. They have cool powers, though.
I think
When they
Wasabi was fun just because he kept freaking out about it.
Yeah, Wasabi was the Marco.
Honestly,
Animorphs
what is the
reference.
plan?
But,
Something besides charge right into the bad guy.
The Arnold Magic School Bus.
Yeah, the Arnold. That's a more...
Definitely the
that's a-
Arnold.
Yeah, that's
Ugh,
the more...
God.
If Arnold
you
had...
for reminding me
if
that
Arnold
existed.
had lightsabers on his hands.
And if Arnold was a genius.
Yeah. I thought Arnold was rather smart.
Yeah, but they're all geniuses. Like
Yeah, these are the- yeah,
certifiable Mensa.
They go to
So,
a super tech
Go-Go
college that's called Nerd School.
Go-Go's got magnetic
Basically,
wheels.
think Tron meets Sonic the Hedgehog and
It
you're
was
caught up on
hers
her.
was really cool. Like and she throws magnetic. It was cool. Honey Lemon. I'm surprised I remembered their names because
Yeah, you suck at that.
other than Fred, you don't really hear their names very often. They're just like, here's the character. They're color coded.
Well,
you
you
know
hear
who
Fred's
they are.
name because he keeps referring to himself in third person.
Yeah. And people keep saying, Fred, we thought you lived under a bridge. No, I live in this giant mansion with my butler, Heathcliff. Not a joke.
Who was
Cliff.
for saying like
Heathcliff.
literally 2 lines was such an amazing
Heathcliff
character.
was awesome.
Heathcliff.
Like
Okay.
I'm talking almost Alfred levels of amazing butler.
Not that level, though, because Alfred kicks
Almost.
ass. But,
He does.
okay, so Honey Lemon's got this, she's big into chemistry, so hers was actually really damn cool. She's got, like, a purse that's got, like, chemical information on it. You type it in, and then it, like, mixes them in the way you want.
Dispenses a mixture.
A little
that are
ball
like
of...
some kind of tennis ball size.
And of course, all of these powers were given to them by Hero.
Or he helped them, like, using their own skills
Yeah.
to develop. Like, they were all working on this in clearly setting up our powers for later scene. This movie is not subtle in many parts.
Oh no, this is not
Like-
subtle.
What's amazing is that Baymax and Hero and him trying to deal with the loss of his brother and all that emotional stuff, really subtle, really well handled, really good stuff. Everything else is like the Power Rangers. Which is distracting combination because the Power Rangers was many things, but emotionally subtle it was not.
No, definitely wasn't.
So the two don't really...
But it was a nice shout out for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah, the two don't really mix that well, but they stay out of each other's way pretty well, so, you know, that's something. It's not...
It managed to do that right.
The Power Ranger stuff is good action, and it's goofy, and it's silly, so that's enjoyable, and the emotional stuff is emotional and affecting and powerful. Nothing doesn't work, it just, not all of it works together. That was my main thing with the film, like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, I want some explanation for this stuff. Like, what is this? Like, or they're trying to track down the bad guy, and they're like, oh, we scanned his life signs. And I'm like, yeah, I was gonna ask, were you going to scan his life signs? I did that automatically. Well, thank God Baymax was thinking.
What bothered me was they made a big point about his battery dying early on in the film,
and then it never happened again.
I kept waiting for it to become a thing.
There were like 3 perfect chances that I counted for that to happen.
The only reason it happens is because Baymax acts like he's drunk when he's low on battery, and it was funny.
And that would be awesome in the middle of a callback.
It was really funny, but it didn't feel like it was ever necessary or paid off. It was just 5 minutes that were funny but pointless.
Not even 5 minutes.
I got that.
Baymax is absolutely hilarious, though. His manner of speaking, the way he doesn't understand phraseology, the way he moves, he was not built for combat or speed.
And yet he managed to get incredibly far from Hero in a short amount of time.
Yeah, that was weird.
The voice actor purposefully wanted to make sure he had that neutral, calculated, and he worked really hard, from what I read online, to create a very neutral, very calming character, and I think he succeeded 100% in his goals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I found best about Baymax, not being graceful in his movement, every time he was activated, he would have to check his surroundings, determine the best way to move his fluffy ass through there. Literally got caught between the bed and the desk. He's just like,
sorry, I bumped your chair. Let me put it back.
Yeah. And they made such a big deal in the trailers about him trying to reach for his soccer ball, but kept kicking it away, and he didn't do that once in the movie.
Because that was made for the trailer.
Nor did they have the armor exploding off of him like in the trailer.
Now that I was waiting for, because the whole suit-up thing was almost exactly what they did in the trailer, but then they didn't do that, and I was like...
Because they wanted the heroic moment of them flying off together as a team.
Baymax gets upgraded, and the reason Baymax goes along with this is because Hero convinces him, and it's partly true, that it's for his emotional healing, which is part of Baymax's job.
Find the a-hole that did all this.
But then it turns...
I will feel better.
Then it's like, Baymax, punch him! I'm programmed to not hurt people. I am
not programmed
I am a nurse bot. Well, he was programmed for karate, which was useful for, like, kicking down doors, and... He was useful. He was very useful in combat, because it's like, oh, throw a big thing at them. He's really tough, he's got the armor, he's got really good lifting capacity... But then you actually, want him to,
and then he turned into a flotation device.
Yeah, that was great.
Like, we didn't see that coming the second they were driving on the dock.
Oh, yeah, no, the moment they're in the water, I was like, well, take off the armor, you're inflated.
And then there was the cop who, just passed him the tape.
That scene was in one of the trailers.
It was in the trailer.
And blatantly copied, so, for the trailer, I'm sure. We're gonna have to do spoilers for this discussion to go on. So spoilers, recommendations in the end?
Go see this movie.
Definitely go, especially if a child has suffered a loss, not recently, but this is a really good movie, I think, that would help a child who might be going through the grieving process when they're ready to help understand that process. So go even if not, but especially if you know a child who maybe has lost someone.
My recommendation, great movie for kids. Adults will like it just
They do get close to the PG-13
Adults
line.
will like it just fine, but I can't honestly say you'll feel that bad if you miss out on this. Like, if you're an adult, you can skip this. It's not a must-see for me. I'm not sad that I saw it, but it's not a must-see.
Really?
Not for me. Yeah,
I'm calling it. It's easily. For me,
I know.
It's one of the best movies of the year.
This is unusual for us.
I think it's an hour and 48 minutes of escapism, but with the heavy grieving motif, it's not pure escapism.
It's not pure escapism, but it's not a wasted movie.
No.
It's not a wasted movie. I can't wholeheartedly recommend it because I just had some problems with it.
I'm recommending this movie.
Yes, I know.
Me.
I know, this is so weird for us. This is completely... You're in creepy
reverse.
shadow because of your hat.
Well, it's my Umbrella Corporation hat. Come on.
I would like to add
Evil
one
corporation.
caveat. If you have recently suffered a loss, do not go see this movie. Trust
It
me,
may
you're not
exacerbate
ready.
things.
Yeah.
You do want to be aware that while it is
It's a kids movie. It is a kids movie, so the grieving is handled tactfully. But realistically, it might strike a little too close to home.
It's very realistically done.
Fresh
and
scars, basically. Don't scratch the fresh scars. So the bad guy.
Spoiler alert.
The bad guy is the doctor who is super respected. I'm not sure what I know what his motivation was. The corporation guy, the red herring, was neglected some safety protocols. The professor's daughter was the test pilot for a teleporter, which was basically like the best thing ever made. And something went wrong, and the daughter was stuck in the portal.
Well, they thought
she was dead, because why wouldn't you think that? And
turns out she's alive Disney.
Because Disney. No, we can't have the parents survive. But I just thought it was a little weird that he's at the science fair, and he's like, "This is perfect for my revenge." He steals it the night of the science fair, sets the whole place on fire.
Rather than let the kid, because the kid already accepted to go to his university.
I felt like there would have been a better time to steal that in a way that wouldn't have drawn so much attention.
But if we didn't do that and have the brother died, we wouldn't have a plot.
There were better ways to handle that, but so he goes crazy, sets the fire, causes an explosion. Hero was going in to save the professor, Tadashi was going in to save the professor, dies. Hero's got one of the little microbots, and that's kind of like chasing the signal.
It's kind of like a reminiscence of the Iron Giant. It keeps going
it's
in
like
the
that
direction
screw.
of
It's
what's
trying to
left
get
of
back
him.
to the majority to do what it's being ordered to do. The guy reconstructs the teleporter, and he uses the teleporter to suck up the corporation guy's new building and kill him too. They show up with their superpowers. They don't do very well at first, and then Hero says something like, "You gotta think outside the box," and then suddenly they're doing much better. That wasn't very well handled. But it was fun to see them fight, and their solution was pretty clever. It's like, hey, when you break off the little microbots, they get sucked into the portal. He has a finite amount of microbots.
And Hero can always make more. He knows how to make them.
And he had a lot
I'll
of...
still call it BS that a 14-year-old is that intelligent.
Still calling BS on that one. So they go into the portal to save the daughter because B-Max sensed that there was the daughter in there. They go in
in a hypersleep.
In hypersleep. They go in and it's tripping balls all of a sudden. We're going full on. I am so fucking high right now, Lamb.
Yeah.
Was that a 2001 tribute?
It seemed like it, yeah. But that's basically anything that's like a trippy color light show.
Good point.
You know what?
I'm so fucking high right
It
now.
kind of reminded me of the food cloud in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
I never got to see that film.
You remember that? Like when
the first one, right?
Yeah, when the food machine went nuts and it had like the food cloud of death.
Cheeseburger.
It was kind of like that, except without the food theme.
I saw that movie for one reason. That was Mr. T was in it.
Mr. T was in it.
I loved the book. I couldn't bring myself to watch that film.
Although the film is horrid.
Mr.
T was
think
awesome
it's an
in it.
excellent movie.
But
But
very little parts
if you're a
he
fan
had.
of the book, it really has nothing to do with the book. It's a very good, in my opinion, it's a very good standalone kids animated movie. But it has nothing to do with the book.
Anyway, they go in this really cool
They get her.
universe. They
go
her.
back. And then, oh no, his thrusters get damaged, and he uses like his rocket fist to get them out. And then they're like, oh no, Baymax is dead. But Baymax put his like intelligence circuit, which they made a thing about a couple times, so that was reasonable.
Basically a
which the brother
card
had
chip
made.
that had all of his programming and personality in it.
So, and that, I was thinking that the whole time they're like the big sacrifice moment for B-Max. I'm like, I'm sorry, but B-Max was like made. He's a robot and he doesn't have a soul. They made that very clear. You can make another one.
Well, he needed the green chip. I kept waiting for him to get the green chip.
Yeah.
And when he didn't, I realized that the green chip must have somehow been...
I saw one of two things happening. Either they were setting up a sequel to save Baymax from whatever the hell that place was,
which would have been
or
a stupid
two,
sequel.
he's just going to build
Impossible.
another one, which I wouldn't have been happy
It's
with
totally
a sequel because it's
But
hard
they
to
did it
sequel
in the
such a
last
good movie.
2 minutes of the movie, so it's fine.
But rebuilding him, to me, it just wouldn't seem like the same. But then I saw the chip in his hand, and it's
Right.
like, okay, we're all good.
Well, I knew the chip had to have gotten to Hero somehow. It didn't happen how I thought it did, but...
I had
And,
actually completely forgotten about the chip, but before the
So they
fist
rescue the
opened, I saw
daughter.
the
She's
green light,
alive and
so-
she's fine. And the the professor guy goes to jail, and everything's better. He goes to college, and they're still superheroes with their superpowers. And I'm at the end of the movie, I'm thinking we're Big Hero 6, and I'm like, and what do you fight?
Traffic jams. Remember, they
Yeah.
saved the San Francisco trolley
Yeah.
from the traffic accident thing, and they saved all the people on board and traffic accidents.
Yeah. So.
But it is a Stanley universe, and he's a superhero
Oh,
too.
yeah,
As
Stanley-
revealed in the stupid after credit scene.
Which we waited for.
Not
These guys
worth
wanted.
seeing.
It's not worth seeing. Although reading the credits was kind of fun for this.
Yeah,
one.
they gave a shout out to their human resources, financial
for
department,
Walt Disney
And the
Animation.
caffeinator.
The caffeinator. And the legal department.
Literally, the only
got
thing missing
credits.
was the name of the people's pets.
They even had the babies born during the production, like the babies of the people who worked
They
on it.
actually do that pretty routinely.
They
They
do
had
that
the
pretty
name of
routinely.
the
But the point
apprentices,
was,
the people who were
The
learning about it.
lightning apprentices. Oh, the lighting apprentices.
Yeah,
my
the
mistake.
people learning how to do lighting.
So
They had the recruitment people out there.
and they
on
had
the
a
credits list.
Fallout Boys song, Incredibles or Invincibles?
Immortals.
Immortals. Thank you.
I would stay and watch the first part of the credits before the credits start rolling because they have some really nice imagery up there.
So, yeah, we already gave our opinions. That's just the part you missed, and it's fine. It's a good movie. I want to talk about Feast, that animation
the short.
the animation short before the movie was actually like. I find that Disney's shorts department is better than Pixar sometimes. Like, Pixar manages to pull off that sort of emotional animation for, like, whole movies.
I mean, that short got like really dark really quick.
It's all from
it salvaged it.
all from the point of view of a puppy that gets picked up by a guy and taken care of. And the framing device for this puppy short is food. Food. The puppy loves food. And his human master...
Well, because it lived on the street before the dude picked it up.
Yeah.
It was a
So,
stray.
yeah, that's the point. It was a dog that was never sure there would be food, and now it's got plenty of food, so it eats plenty of food.
eggs and bacon.
It eats things that
Oh
would
my
kill
god! His
and
owner is an
nachos
awful owner.
and-
He is overfeeding the hell out of that dog.
That dog would have died
But
had it been real world.
so what happens in the course of it is that his owner falls for a girl who's vegetarian. As you can clearly tell from the fact that the diet of the human who is feeding him human food changes drastically. And
the dog
is like,
not happy. The dog attacks the food it's given. And prior to all of that, the dog was actually acting like my dog when it was happy to see food, jumping around its bowl, barking at me, hurry up and pour the bag.
But then it, as you said, it goes for a very dark turn. We see the dog and the human has a breakup. It's not a clean or a happy breakup with this girl.
And while
the dog,
human is
and-
depressed as hell, the dog
And
is
so, like, he pulls out all his comfort food, and the dog is like, yay, the food I like. And you're like, the dog is still happy. The dog is so happy. But the human is like, he's falling asleep in the tub and eating macaroni off his chest. This guy has fallen
He's
into...
eating a macaroni and cheese takeaway carton full to bursting.
He's in serious depression. It's really dark. And then the dog is like... Then the dog realizes that his owner is not doing well and...
why can't my dog be that smart?
And is inspired to run off for the girl because it saw a vegetable and is like, oh yeah, when that lady who
yeah,
brought
the little parsley leaf.
when the girl who brought the vegetables was here, you were happier. Let's go get her. And then they get better and they get married. It's all from the dog's point of view, but it's it's very... It's all in the editing. Like, the animation is really important, but the way they cut it all together and the point of view, and it's all really, really well done.
And I refuse to believe that, as much as I love animals, especially dogs...
That dog would have been dead.
That dog should have been dead long before any of this happened.
Nachos
Just off of
and
the
cheese.
diet it was being fed.
I mean, it wasn't being fed chocolate, so that's good, but...
Our toy poodle ate half of a half pound chocolate and peanut butter Easter egg, and she lived to tell the tale.
Lucky. That
Yeah.
is luck.
But nachos and cheese?
Dogs will eat anything, and they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So,
If you have a dog, trust me, you keep an eye on every bit of food in the house.
That was
Because
cool.
if it's unattended, they will get it.
if you've watched with us to this point in the video, go look up some of Disney's shorts. Like, there's one, Paperboy or something that's like, it's really good. Actually, that was one thing I forgot to talk about.
But yeah, the dog one we were just talking about is called Feast.
Big Hero 6, there were, one thing I forgot to talk about was the animation that kind of bugged me. The character designs on the faces and the bodies, it's all really good, except for 2 female characters, Honey Lemon and one irrelevant side character. Their legs were way too long. Way too thin. We're talking worse than Bayonetta legs, and it was distracting.
Isn't Bayonetta like 60% legs,
I
though?
know! It was worse than that!
Is that her actual name?
Bayonetta? No. I can't.
Or is that just the name of the game?
That was, I can't remember what her actual name was anymore.
Not important.
She has a real name. Bayonetta was the name she took after she lost her memory. Because, of course, she lost her memory. Honey Lemon was not only had, like, really long, distractingly thin legs, she was always wearing platform heels.
Yeah, she was a Mod Go-Go-esque character.
It was distracting.
Yeah, she was 60s Mod Go-Go-esque.
It's not a knock on the movie. It was just one element of the animation that
I liked
threw
her design.
me.
I thought it was cool.
Her design, apart from
As
her legs,
annoying
was good.
as she was, though, the whole cheery and distractingly tall thing, she was the one that saved the movie. If she didn't put the good chip back in Baymax.
Oh, yeah. At one point, he takes the caregiver chip out and just leaves in the karate chip. Baymax goes nuts. It was scary.
Like, they even had a shout out to the
moment was
Avengers when
creepy.
Baymax chases the bad guy through a enclosed space like the Hulk chased Black Widow in the
That wasn't
helicarrier.
a shout out. That was just a thing that happened. in
That
both
was
movies.
too blatant for it to not be.
No, that's just kind of a thing that happens.
Yeah, I think that was more of an action thing than...
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's cool to see it, but it wasn't a shout.
I still think that was way too
also have
obvious.
used some of the
Because it
file
was the
video
exact
to
same
help
thing.
animate it.
Maybe, because they would have that on file. Okay, previews.
Previews.
Was there any
right
I saw
here.
before? We were a little late to this, so we might have missed
Because
some.
I had a football game to watch. an
Okay, so there was
important one.
nothing before SpongeBob
I
that you guys
don't
got.
know, but we saw SpongeBob SquarePants the movie.
We now have some
The
idea.
apocalypse is starting.
We now know
Live
what
action.
the point of the movie is.
Yeah.
They're going to be live action with them.
Superheroes.
Yeah. At the start of the preview, of course, they stay animated, but there's normal humans wandering around. They're like proportional to size as they're supposed
Can
to
we
be.
just skip
They're
this
like-
one, please?
They're like this big.
Can we please? They're superheroes. It's going to be horrible.
I will say that the guy who was playing the pirate, who for some reason is the bad guy, looked like he was having fun.
Yeah.
But that's not saying it doesn't look. It doesn't
really
look
don't
like
wanna
the.
talk about
It
this
doesn't
one.
look like the worst thing ever, because that's chirpy.
This is like the second SpongeBob live action they've tried, and this one isn't going to have what's his name from Baywatch.
Wait, they've tried this crap before?
Yeah, didn't they try it with that guy from Baywatch?
I don't know. I hate SpongeBob. Like, I
I do too.
shun.
If you like SpongeBob,
Everything
you'll
about it.
probably like the movie. If you don't like SpongeBob, you won't even bother seeing the
An
movie.
Amish person would sooner take a computer than I would ever see anything
Amish
SpongeBob
people use
related.
computers.
Whatever. Shut up. Wrong metaphor.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next preview.
Okay. Yeah. The next one is the Minions doing the
Despicable Me.
Penguins thing.
It's gonna be a cute film. Apparently minions are immortal and have existed looking for the proper despicable master and killed most of them off hilariously.
Because they're stupid.
And it's a
This is
journey
exactly the kind of movie kids want to see that parents have no interest
I
in.
actually want to see this one. It's a journey film. It looks like it's going to be fun. They use the song Under Pressure, so, you know.
From what little I understand
soundtracks,
about the Minions themselves, apparently they're like a perfect marketing thing for Disney.
No, it's not Disney. Infinity Studios is their own independent studio.
Whatever, they're all the same to me.
That's factually wrong.
Alex, who are you talking to right now?
You cannot say they're the same as Disney when they're Disney.
And I did.
They're Disney's competition.
I never watched Despicable Me, mostly because I have an intense hatred for Steve Carell in any form. But from what I understand, the Minions are actually fun characters. I'm willing to give them a shot.
Well, okay, the problem is going to be with the Minions movie is that it's going to be played really, really safe. Because they don't want to offend the little kiddies with the Minions doing anything untoward.
Oh no, and God forbid anybody steps out of line for the children.
I also haven't seen the Despicable Me movies, but if the Minions are funny in those, they're funny because they're not the focus of the movie. They're the comic relief. And trying to let the comic relief carry a movie is really hard to pull off.
I have to disagree. I think I had to watch the Despicable Me movie. I didn't really like it because I didn't buy the Little Orphan Annie. Steve Carell wasn't that good. I think Will Ferrell played the villain. I thought they were reaching too far and it didn't work. I think a Minions movie might be really good because a lot of people my age loved the Minions, hated the film.
I just don't see it working I don't see it working in any memorable way. I'm sure it will be inoffensive, cute, and funny in really boring, forgettable ways.
Good escapism. Yeah, nothing more.
But it will be complete. It won't be escapism with any thrust to it like Big Hero 6 had. Big Hero 6 had some meat to it. This won't have that.
Anyway, moving on. Hillsong. It's the Movements. If you don't know who they are, like.
That wasn't a preview. That was a commercial.
Well, they are a very, very, very popular Christian band, and they are doing a concert in theaters called Hillsong.
I'd sooner watch a radio show.
Yeah. Moving on. Annie.
Nothing new from that preview.
Yeah.
We've talked about it in almost every movie we've seen in the past.
About the only thing I can say is that we got to see a little bit of the Hard Knock Life routine and
which we've been seeing in commercials for Catching Fire.
Well, okay, I haven't seen
which did not do too well.
Catching Fire?
Or is that the latest one that came out? Because I don't keep track of that. I really don't.
It didn't do as good as the first two, but it did $120 million
on opening week.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought Catching Fire was the second one. This one is Mockingjay,
right? The Mockingjay. No, that was opening weekend alone.
That's fine. That movie's gonna do fine.
Tomorrowland.
Wait. Yeah, Tomorrowland.
Preview.
Which we did. It looked interesting.
Preview.
It looked cool.
Really cool preview.
But it was like super short and showed like no content at all.
No real idea.
All we saw was Magic Button transports people to super cool places.
Is George Clooney in it, or is he the director?
I don't know. It wasn't clear at all.
It gave us no information about this. None.
When I saw in EW, because we got free magazine subscription, so I picked EW, I thought it was going to be the stupidest thing ever, and Disney trying to make money off of another ride, which as we've learned with pirates can be either really good or...
Country Bears. It can also be Country Bears.
So this actually looks like they're playing it straight rather than making it... It sounds interesting. I'm curious to learn more.
The previews got me intrigued, but I have no idea what it's going to be about. It could have nothing to do with a button transporting you to a magic place. It could just be that was a really cool trailer idea.
We have to learn more before we can make...
But, really cool preview.
It's something we'll be keeping an eye out for.
Yeah. Last one, Inside Out.
This is the official point where Disney will market anything.
Actually, it's really clever.
Wouldn't that have been, like, WALL-E or... I would have said, like, Up was the moment where Disney's like, really? Anyway, this is a Pixar-Disney work on together. Considering that Pixar's always worked for Disney, I'm really confused as to why they felt the need to show Disney next to Pixar. Because if you just show Pixar, we know Disney's involved.
The main point about this is girls going through a traumatic event.
Called puberty.
That, and I believe she was also moved across country.
Possibly.
I read it in the EW again.
Basically,
the emotions,
right now,
joy,
we call
anger,
osmosis
sadness.
Jones to your head, and instead of all the bodily
functions,
germs
emotions.
and white blood cells and all that stuff, just think emotions.
Osmosis
now you
Jones
know what we're talking
with
about.
emotions and completely different tone, of course.
But from what I've heard, they're actually making it really subtle and about dealing with change when you're a child.
This is an idea
grief.
that has potential.
It does have potential.
But it can also go completely wrong. Like this is it's there's so many ways you can go. They could have easily picked the really bad direction to go. So
probably not a
clever idea. I'll give
I'm
them
not
that.
sure about these two, but definitely not a movie I have any interest in seeing.
I want to see it because I want to see where they're going to take the narrative.
I want to see a bit more plot relevant trailer before I weigh in, but good idea. Good idea. I mean, Pixar. What was the last thing Pixar did that I liked? I haven't seen WALL-E, so there's that.
WALL-E was cute.
I only saw like a few minutes of WALL-E, and it was like right at the super depressing part.
So why didn't you just go back to the beginning?
Because it was playing in school for some reason. I don't know why it was on the televisions in school.
I liked Up. Up was really good.
Never got to saw Up or see Up. Cannot English.
Cannot words.
Well, that's probably a good place to wrap this up then.
We covered our feelings on Big Hero 6, so thanks for joining us.
Go see the movie.
Bye.
Bye.